Praise the Lord. Welcome to the Front Runner podcast. My name is Isaiah Marshall, and we have a very, very special guest today, my brother, Bryan DeCuir, and I've been knowing him for years, but I know him, and I want you all to get to know him, and I know that you all will be blessed by this discussion. Bryan, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Isaiah. How are you?
I'm doing good, Can't complain. Man, I'm happy to have you, and just honored, and just looking forward to our discussion, for real.
Yeah, me too.
So I know who you are, and I know we've been knowing each other for years.
Yeah.
through the Toastmasters Club, same Toastmasters Club, but our listeners don't know who you are. So who is Bryan DeCuir? And I guess we'll lead up to what you do. And so,
yeah, it's such a broad question, man. Who is Bryan DeCuir? Well, I guess I'll just start with the basic stuff. I'm an attorney. I'm a financial advisor, husband, father, and I feel like sort of a lifelong learner. I try to really keep in with self-improvement, try to get, constantly get better a little bit. I sort of like that 1% rule of keeping going forward and getting a little bit better throughout your whole life. You don't need to stop once you get done with school or once you get done with it. It's a lifelong process to continue down that path. And I help my clients manage their finances. I help them with their estate planning. So I do a lot of the wills and trusts and things like that. It's really good. I find that I have a very good client relationship where I get to really, people come into my office with a problem or with something that they're worried about, and they're asking me to help them so that they don't have to worry anymore. And I jokingly tell people part of my job is helping others sleep better at night. Yeah. It really is. If I do tell people, hey, if you're waking up in a cold sweat about your finances or about your estate plan, then I'm not doing my job right. And so you need to give me a call and you need to say, hey, I've just been worried about that. What can you tell me to put me at ease? So I find that's sort of how I live my life. I like to help people. I'm on the board for Toastmasters, nonprofit organization. I'm also the band booster president of my son's high school band boosters. And so I just feel like I'm here to be of service to people. Wow. And so that's sort of who Bryan DeCuir is, I guess.
Now, you mentioned you're on a board. Is this like the national board or like?
No, not for Toastmasters. No, I'm talking about the board for our club.
Oh, for
Toastmasters. Yeah.
Oh man, that's
no. No, they haven't tapped me to do that, and that's a big job, though. I've heard that.
Imagine.
A lot of people, a lot of stuff to do there. Big organization.
Yes,
so
sir. Now you're a lifelong learner.
Yeah.
So why is that important to you? Like just the constant learning and improving yourself. Like,
it's interesting to me. I feel like if I didn't do those things, I just feel like I would be stagnating. I have a natural curiosity about things, about life, and about, I'm a big studier of the human condition. I really somewhat enjoy movies that are that sort of portray that, because I feel like we're all going through this experience, and sometimes I feel like some people might feel isolated. They feel like they're going through this experience by themselves, but we're all going through this experience in this human body that we're in.
Yes, sir.
And I feel like that's part of it for me, is I'm just curious about about those things. But then secondly, also, as I said, I really like to be of service to people. So I like to help people find answers. I like to put people at ease. I like to, basically help people with, the types of things that you would need, like get answers for people, if that makes sense.
Yes, sir.
And not that I have all the right answers. I certainly don't. The more that I learn, the more I realize I don't know.
Yeah.
But I will say that people really appreciate it when you're saying, hey, I don't know the answer to that, but I'll get you the answer to that. And they have at least a little amount of trust, and say, yeah, I feel like Bryan is going to not steer me wrong. And so yeah, it's been an honor.
That's the beauty of, the journey of learning. You know, it's like oftentimes we talk about taking vacations. I'm like, man, if you read a good book, that's like taking a vacation, because you enter into a space you've never been before. And it's like, man, just the journey of learning about new things, and then being able to, you know, teach others. And serve others
exactly.
in what you're learning. That's good.
Well, you'd be surprised where you learn things. You know, every once in a while you read a good book and you think, oh, this is just like, I had this experience recently where I typically am a nonfiction reader. Okay. You know, I typically will read self-help books and self-improvement and motivational books and things like that. Just read, I don't know if you know David Goggins' book, but he's a Navy SEAL. I will warn people, he uses some real salty language in that book because he's a Navy SEAL. But I will say he has a very motivational story. Wow. And you know, and not only for the fact that he got himself in shape and became a Navy SEAL, but he also you know, he basically is just helping people to improve themselves in one way or the other, and also deal with the mental aspect of self-improvement, which is a lot of times the biggest thing. I mean, your brain's standing in your way of moving forward because it keeps telling you can't do it. It keeps telling you, you know, that you don't have it in you, that you don't have what it takes. Yes, sir. And his story is basically a story of, yes, you do. You just need to tell yourself that. Yes, sir. And so, so the interesting thing I was going to say is, I usually read nonfiction, but I've read a couple of fiction books and I've gleaned some great lessons from stories that are fictional stories. Wow. And it was one of those things that it was almost a little bit, I don't want to say it blew my mind, but it was almost a little bit like eye-opening, because I always thought, oh, reading nonfiction, that's just like reading some stories. Like, it's just for fun. You don't get anything out of that. It's just reading a story that somebody else made up. Yes, sir. And, you know, you read something and you go, you know what, that actually applies to my life. That character, what that character went through in that book applies to my life and my struggle, or something else that you're going through. Yes, sir. And so interesting, you know, concept, at least. Yeah, I can relate. I listen mostly to nonfiction books as well, but the books that I'm more drawn to in terms of nonfiction is reading autobiographies or biographies about interesting people. Yeah. Who've overcome, you know, certain obstacles in their lives. Yes. And so like a lot of what I read is about the underdog, about this whole concept where the odds was against someone. And then you read and you watch how they overcame those things. Yeah. Yeah. And so when you think about that and you think about, you know, just our relationship, like for me personally, like I love a good underdog story because I see myself as an underdog. Not that I see myself as an underdog, but this whole notion of being considered an underdog. I'm out front running all day.